record, or it's like, yeah, okay. It should be recording now. Nailed it.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, excellent. Usual thing. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll get rocking and rolling.
Hey guys, Simon, Christy, MTG Misprint. Hey Eric.
Hello. I'm not sure if I'm going to put your audio before or after this, so we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
So we're talking YetiCon, which just happened last weekend or like these last couple days.
Yeah.
You literally booked a flight that's 20 hours on ground, meaning like wheels up to wheels down, 20 hours, not counting pre-check, anything,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. How did you prepare for this trip? Was the 20 hours intentional? Explain yourself. Answer this question. Yeah.
Explain yourself. It was intentional in the, hey, can I do this thing? Is it a thing that's possible, reasonable? Should I be doing this? Is this a PSA? Is this a nightmare? Is this a good thing? So I guess to preface it, Frontier is based out of Denver, right? Yeah. And so because Frontier has a lot of flights to Denver are quite cheap. I didn't fly Frontier because and somebody can check me on the statistics on this, but I had read something like Frontier delays and has more flights delayed or canceled than any other airline in the US by like double,
orders of magnitude,
like double the next person, who's probably Spirit would be my guess is number 2. Frontier, and I think they delay like 43% of flights or something. It's like staggering, So it's like when I'm so tight, I can't do that, right? I can't get there the morning of, and so it actually, a couple of reasons this kind of worked out. Work has been kind of insane. I ended up having a work meeting Friday evening. So I would which would have been problematic if I had flown out Friday, which is often, I fly out Friday evening or Friday afternoon to get there for a Saturday event. So it kind of, from a personal work space, it kind of worked out kind of well. But yeah, I looked at a couple people had mentioned, including Will, had mentioned that, hey, I'm going to go to this event. I sort of hummed and hawed. I put a price tracker up on the flights. Flights were really cheap. I was the last person to sign up. So it was capped at 64. There were 64 people. I was the 64th person. Jared actually messaged me like, oh, you're the last person. Like you got the last slot. And I was like, all right, I got the last slot. And then I booked my flight. And then I was just like, well, I think I can make it there and back. I think I can make it there that morning. I think the doors were open at 10:45. It's only a 2-hour flight from Houston, right? So that's
it's easy. Yeah.
It's an easy flight. I probably would not be willing to do this to the West Coast or the East Coast just because of that 3 to 4.5 hour flight makes it more challenging. But the 2-hour flight made it more reasonable. I use air quotes there. But yeah, it was, and I didn't do anything to prep. I packed my bag and I had no contingency of anything, no extra clothes, no toothbrush, nothing. Like it was like we were all in on a one bag, one jacket. We were doing it right. So I took my bag, a book, and headphones. I think the only thing that I sort of packed that I don't always pack would be I packed chewing gum because I wouldn't be staying somewhere and having a shower and what have you. So I was like, well, I'll pack some gum. So if I'm not brushing my teeth, at least I have some gum. Other than that, it was just let's one bag it and let's see how it goes.
Small margin of error, and I love it.
Yeah, and I just figured if my flight's delayed on Saturday, I'll just skip it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, my flight was cheaper than the entry to the event. So,
that's fantastic. That's incredible.
Yeah. So, it wasn't a super cheap event because there was a lot of swag and stuff, and there's 2 artists. We had the venue. We had the whole venue. It wasn't just like a room or whatever. We actually had the whole venue. So it was a little bit more than some events, but not crazy or anything. But yeah, the flight was very cheap. And then, it's like once I started, okay, I paid for the event. I got this cheap flight, and it's like, well, I can skip a hotel. Like I'll just get this cheap flight. I skip a hotel. They were like, we have the venue till 2. And it was like, I need to be at the airport at 3:30 or so.
Literally the time it'll take you to get to the airport from the venue is
correct.
And then you just hit the lounge and you're good.
Yeah, well, the lounge is not open. That's the thing. It's too early. It's too early in the morning for the lounge to be open. So I did realize this too late. The lounge, I think, opens at 5. And Denver has a really nice Capital One lounge.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been told by one of my friends who's been there recently. I actually haven't been to it, but I have the Capital One card, so I have access to that lounge. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't get to lounge, but yeah. So I mean, I just kind of one booked it. Work and family stuff's been kind of crazy, so I was definitely not too much planning, I would say. But this was, I always try and do at least one kind of new or random event. This was a great kind of new and random event for me to get to this year.
Yeah, uh, uh, fantastic, and I'm sure it's like easier to sell to the family that you'd be like literally gone for less than an actual day. Like,
Yeah, my wife
yeah,
was like, "What the hell?" She was like,
like one night, okay, like,
well, because I had it on the calendar, but on the, still shows Saturday, Sunday, right?
yeah,
And so I was like, well, I leave Saturday morning early, and she was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "What time do you get back Sunday?" I was like, 8, like 9. I'll be back
a.m.,
home at 9
a.m.,
a.m.
a.m.
And she was like, What? Like, what?" And I was like, "Yeah."
We're making it work. We're making this work.
Yeah, so it was good. I mean, yeah, it worked out. I mean, I think, I do hear people say that they can't get to events or it takes too long stuff. I would say that if you want to make it work, you can make it work, right? So
Yeah,
there's a little bit of risk with flights, right?
absolutely.
But if you are only paying for the entry and the flight, you're not paying for a hotel, your all-in risk is pretty low.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
your equity definitely goes up. Like even if you take a loss, like your loss is way less, right? Like,
And if you cannot make events, right? Some people struggle because of their work. They have to work late some nights or whatever. I mean, this is doable, right? I hear some people, everyone's family situations and what have you are different. But if you have, let's say, the money to pay for it, but you don't have the time, this is a feasible thing that you could do. So
right.
if you want to get to an event, again, don't make the excuse. If you could afford to pay for it, the time is probably not an excuse. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to want it though, right? You have to want to go get it and like, kind of like double down on it, right? It's like, okay, we're doing this. Like, I'm gonna have a super fun day. I'm gonna do everything. We're gonna do triple A after the event. I'm bringing triple A decks. I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna embrace all of the things because I need to be there till 2.
Right. Yeah.
So
You might as well get it all in because you got the time. Like
exactly.
it's like both the constraint and the non-constraint is time.
Yeah, there's no choice.
Yeah.
You don't get
Yeah.
to be tired. You don't get
Yeah.
to be tired. You got get some caffeine in you and go. So, but yeah, no, it was good. I think that would be my takeaway is that if somebody is thinking that they can't get to events, it's struggle. I know a lot of us have busy jobs or young kids or whatever the things are in your life, spouses or partners that maybe don't want you to travel, whatever it is. You could do this in a lightning, right? Kind of a
Okay.
lightning round. I left before everyone woke up and I got back, I was back at 9.
Yeah.
So, the impact was a day. The impact was really one day on the family, which is pretty minimal, all things considered.
Yeah. It's like if you can do it, and like if that's the constraint, then that's the way to do it, right? Like I don't know. Let's just take a hard break. How did the venue go? Like, because they had the whole venue. I saw the
Yeah.
pinball. Were the pinball machines
Yes.
in the venue? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The venue is great. So, really like the venue. It's sort of slash brewery
Okay.
that like
Oh,
metal.
there it is. Okay. Oh,
You
we
see,
lost you for a second. You're back.
okay. It's like a concert venue slash brewery, um, that I think put on a lot of metal shows.
I would assume so based on what I saw in that picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of posters of metal
Yeah.
stuff. It was super cool. Great venue. We had the whole venue, which was amazing. I think so. I think they capped it at 64, but I think there was like 56 or 57 ish people, something like that. Yeah, the venue is great. I mean, if it was my venue, it's definitely one of those ones where I'm like, I'm not going to grow the tournament. I'm just going to lock this venue in and cap it because the venue is good, right? Uh, we got some drink tickets. There was a bunch of snacks. They made pizzas for lunch, and they made like
Okay.
chicken and ribs and stuff for dinner. So like it was kind of like one of those all-in experiences, right? Everyone's in the same venue all day. You didn't have to leave for food or snacks. It was a brewery, and I was a bit worried that they wouldn't have any
Like hard
liquor,
liquor. Yeah.
but they did. They did,
Okay.
thankfully, which was good. And like the small details, like have to give a lot of props to Jared and his wife Sarah also I think helped, but like small things. And I don't know if this was Jared or the brewery on their own accord. They made a beer called Order of Light Beer.
Good. Okay.
Like
I'm glad they're into it. Yeah.
like that, like they brewed it, right? And they had it on their brew thing, like Order of Light Beer. And
Nice.
it's like, that's amazing. Like those small details are like, those are amazing. I love those details. Those are probably the difference. Like you probably don't get all of those details from somebody like me when I put on a tournament. Cause like I'm putting on the tournament because, I want people to come play. I think the really, really good tournament organizers, right? The people that are really passionate for it, they see those small things and they really take those things and run with it. And I love to see stuff like that. I love to see stuff where I'm like, man, why didn't I think of that? Those are amazing things that like really add to the just like the feel, right? But
Right.
yeah, the venue was great. Like not loads of space, but enough space,
Yeah.
right?
Like enough to do it, enough to get it done. Right.
Some of the tables were in like the vats, like in
Oh, like in
between
between the actual like yeah, 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 yeah. The
whatever they're
big
called.
metal things, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So there were some tables that were in between it. I mean, which is cool. Like, but yeah, it was great. And having the whole venue was like great, and like the staff were nice. There was metal music playing all day. It was really a good venue. I really enjoyed the venue.
The vending machine, which I'll put a picture of in the
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
Is the vending machine in the
Yes.
establishment, and does it have
Yes.
weed in it, or is it just like other things?
I don't think it had actual drugs in it.
Disappointing,
There
but
was
okay.
some like
I kind
there
of
was
assumed.
some like there was some like I think it had like some maybe drug paraphernalia or something. I
Sure.
don't think it actually sold drugs, but yeah, it had like bag of dicks and it was just you didn't know what it was. It even had like Pokemon packs, which is like kind of funny and like it just like had a bunch of like random stuff and people were buying stuff from it all day like and there was some funny stickers like somebody got like like a little bag of like tiny like candy dicks
Nice. Okay.
um nipple tassel, somebody got a butt plug, like a vibrating butt plug, like
Okay.
it
Fun
added
stuff.
like yeah,
Yeah.
in between rounds people are drinking and like we're congregating over by the pinball machines and by the vending machine and people were like, I'm gonna buy something from this vending machine. Like, so it was fun. Like it added another fun layer. Somebody got like a little pin that said like I have a tiny penis. Like it was just it was humorous and fun. I mean, silly and childish, yes,
Yes.
but also
Yes.
like everyone's drinking. We're hanging out playing a kids card game. I mean, it definitely added to the kind of the aesthetic of the event for sure.
Excellent. I saw one of those in Vegas. I didn't buy anything. It was all like Playboys and that type of thing in there. But like James did, so he can tell you about. I'll have him on. We can talk about the
Nice.
vending machine is the next level. That's the play.
Vending machine
Um,
was cool. Yeah.
so I saw you sent me your deck.
Yes.
I would say, in my opinion, a step
Yep.
away from what you normally play. Is that a fair
Yes.
assessment?
Yeah, for sure.
Why go with I mean, describe your deck, but like, why go with that over your usual fare?
Yeah, so it was blue white flyers, four Sarah's, one Modi, and like all the blue white cards. So I built two decks. I built this blue white flyers deck, and I built like DFB green plus blue.
Okay.
And I was gonna play one of those two decks. The I guess should mention the rules were different, right? It was mountain rules, which like
Can you explain that? Because I don't have a
yes,
copy of them, but
very
okay.
high level. Two strip mines, restricted bottle, falling star only hits two creatures, and then there was like some weird event rules. Like the event theme was death because of the death metal bar, I
Right.
think. And so there was the event cards. I think were kind of irrelevant. They were like there was nothing at the top tables that was being played. So really,
Okay.
the other piece it's the two strip
Restricted
restricted bottle
bottle and
and
then
falling
falling
star
star.
only hitting two creatures. So, which I think is fine. Oh, and Mountain Yeti is a 3/4, which is like somewhat relevant actually. Like considering I
Yeah.
played a blue white deck and swords can't hit Mountain Yeti.
Right. Yeah.
And
Creature
it
control.
meant and usually, like, in the sort of that controlling deck, sometimes you want Bolt to kill creatures. It meant that I didn't want Bolt because I couldn't kill Mountain Yeti. So
Right.
I built, like, a slightly more robust mana base.
Oh, to play
Um,
terror and stuff. And like
yeah, I had
yeah.
Terror in the sideboard, and I had the Bottle in the sideboard, and also I'm casting 5 and 6 drops, right? So I wanted and, like, it's not 1 strip, it's 2 strips, so it's more likely that they'll strip your library or they can strip your second white source. I'm also playing Bottle in the sideboard because I figured people might rug harder or they'll play more City of Brass or they'll play more Serendibs because nobody's playing Bottle.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
That's where I would have came to the conclusion. I probably would have loaded up on
yeah,
Arabian
so
Birds.
I thought I wanted the Bottle in the 75, and that meant I only wanted 2 City of Brass in my deck as well because I bring in the Bottle, yada yada.
Yep.
So that it was between those 2 decks. Didn't have like a good way to choose between the 2. I never play this deck, you're correct, this type of deck, but I have all the miscuts and misprints for it, so I kind of wanted to yeah, I
Those
kind of wanted to
underground seas
do
are pretty fucking hot. I won't lie. I'm like,
so the Twisted Underground Sea, so
yeah,
there's the one that, like, barely shows other cards.
yes.
That one that's a factory cut. So it's original, like, it's from the factory. It's Twisted. It was played unsleeved for 20 plus years.
Oh,
It's like the back is like ground and gravel. It's amazing. It's like just an amazing card. Yeah, so I mean, I have all the duels. It's hard to see on the picture, but the tomes are actually insane. So the tomes are 5th edition multi-print. So it doesn't show up very well on camera, but, like, if you try and read it in person, like, you go cross-eyed.
oh, they're like
Um,
they're like blurry
Correct.
from like
They're like
double printings.
but these are, like, triple and quadruple printed.
Oh,
So, like, it, like, gives you a headache if you actually, like, read it. So they're super cool. Yeah, so basically I wanted to play cool cards. I don't think I've ever cast Moti since I started playing 93, 94. Other than, I think, in Singleton's, probably the only place that I played it. So I was like, Dan Fraser's there. I'm gonna play this Moti. That'll be like a nice little nod to, like, the artist. Yeah, other than that, and, like, I've been playing different decks every event this year. Wasn't really, like, the plan, but I've sort of been keeping that up just because
you started it. Now it's like, why not finish? Yeah.
yeah, and so I've done that, like, all year. The only exception to that, I think, was at NoobCon where I played something on, like, the Fortress event, and I played the same thing the next day just because I was like, if it goes well, I'll play the same deck, and if it doesn't, I'll switch. And it went well, so I just doubled it up. But other than that, I played a different deck every event, which has been fun as well. I did that last year. It wasn't as, like, specific this year. I didn't do it as particular. Like, I wasn't, like, so, like, I was very, like, we're doing something different. Whereas this year it was sort of like I kind of just let it naturally happen. I tried, like, I played at LobsterCon, I played Rug because I got a new Argothian Pixies miscut.
Oh
So
yeah.
I kind of let my collection and the just things that are happening sort of push rather than me being so specific of, like, this is the best deck or I want to play. It was sort of like, well, this is a thing I just got. Let's embrace this thing. I actually, I think I put this in my, like, audio notes. I got a new Armageddon in on the Friday before the event, which kind of made me want to change
Is that the one that
decks.
had the ghost printing in the corner? Like,
Yes,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I saw
yeah.
that one. Yeah.
S Chinese fifth that has the ghost printing exactly. And so that kind of made me want to change deck, but I had to do a deck pick and send it, and like I said, I had work meetings up till like 5 o'clock. So it didn't happen. And, like, we had to do picks on the 18th, or I think I have that date right, but whatever the
Mm.
Friday was. So I was sort of just scrambling to get that done anyway. I taken the picture of the blue deck and the green deck that way I could sort of default to either
Yeah.
one. There's not a lot of overlap in those 2 decks, so I could kind of build them both, which was nice. But yeah, I ended up with the blue-white deck. Very non-standard for me. I think that's an accurate statement. Not known for casting mid-range creatures.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I saw that and I was like, is that really like? I was like, what were the special rules for this tournament? Because I was like, oh, that must have affected what we were playing here.
Yeah, I mean, it made me put a Wrath in the main, which is interesting, right? Because I'm not playing Abyss, right, or anything.
Right,
So I did
right.
play Wrath of God main. which I figured it was a bit of a nod to Mountain Yeti, because I'm like, well, I can't swords it. I didn't want to play the Terror main because I thought Shops was still good. I hate having a dead card against Shops. But I was like, well, this Wrath is pretty good against Shops. It's good against Rug. It's good. It's kind of good everywhere except from against the deck, unless they're also jamming Sarahs. So
Right.
I was like, we'll play this Wrath. That'll be like fun. It's not something I get to play very often as well. So again, I kind of just let collection. I had a miscut Wrath and a S Chinese Wrath. So I kind of let collection morph it a little bit, but it's nothing. The deck's not crazy. It's pretty much blue white
Yeah.
flyers. But yeah, I just let that morph. I mean, sideboard's kind of a bunch of junk. If I'm honest, I just put it's good cards. All the cards are good, but I didn't really think about what I'm siding in and out. I just put cards in that I knew
You're
were good
like,
and
"Ah,
that I
these are
might
good."
want.
Yeah.
And like I had several matchups like whereas like, man, I want like 7 of these cards, but like I got 3 slots. So like I just like a lot of cards were unused because of that, right? So and that's a mark of a bad sideboard for me at
That's
least.
fair.
Is like I would almost want to over sideboard. I think a lot of people do this. This is one of the difficult things on sideboarding is they have too many cards, but they still put them all in and they water their deck down so much their deck doesn't do the thing that it's supposed to do anymore.
Guilty.
And because they over
Yeah.
sideboarded. And so like it's difficult. And I have not played basically a version of the deck, right? I've not played the deck that many times. I think only in like 2 like proper tournaments, this being one of them. And like the big thing is like you can only like put like 3 cards in. So your cards need to be extremely impactful. And you don't need all these like middling cards. Whereas like a lot of the decks that I like to play with lightning bolts, you want those kind of marginal. I love those marginal cards because those are the cards that either give you stories or you get to like just do like weird stuff, right? Your artifact blasts kind of
Yeah.
card, right? Whereas like you're like, man, this might not be the best card, but if this comes off, like you're
It's gonna
gonna
be
feel
good.
like a
Yeah.
hero.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So I like those cards in those decks, but it's not the deck is not the place to do that. The deck is the place where you have a sideboard mirror or you have a sideboard moat, and you're
Mhm.
like, if I cast this with a counterspell backup, I win the game. So it's just a different approach to the game, really.
Okay. The I'm gonna just I guess spoil it here, but you won this event. Is that correct?
Correct.
Number one. Uh,
Number 1, XO, yeah.
what was did they just do a straight Swiss or did they cut
Straight Swiss.
X? Thank God. Okay. Did any memorable matches like anything stands out?
I don't think I mean, I played against a lot of good decks, right? So, I
Right.
mean, I played against, 2 Blinded Bolts, 1 Rug, 1 Shops, and then, like, 2 spicier decks, a Diamond Valley deck and a Yawgmoth Demon Shops deck. So I had a pretty good, like, broad field, right? Kind of that's pretty good mix, I think.
Yes.
Um, 4 very competitive decks, kind of spicy deck, the Diamond Valley deck. And honestly, Yawgmoth Demon Shops is like a good spicy deck because its backup plan is casting Suchis and Triskelions. So
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the the Yawgmoth Demon bit might be a bit spicy, but the rest of the deck is like pretty just good, right? Those are the type of decks that like Blinded Bolt can struggle against, right? Because you're like,
Mhm.
I'm just one, and they're like, play this Yawgmoth
Yeah,
Demon.
you get outclassed pretty fast. They
Exactly.
can get off. Yeah.
I don't think I had any like special plays.
I just wasn't
I had
sure
a
because of the rule sets. I was like, I wasn't sure what round
I
one,
didn't
round two
see
looked
any
like.
of the
Yeah.
cards. Quite frankly, I didn't see. So I played against Lion Bolt round 1 against a local guy, and 2 owed him, and so I'm like in the winners bracket.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
kind of I stayed there all day. I 2 owed all of my opponents except from my last opponent in the finals in the last round.
Gotcha.
So I went 5-0, 10-0, and then last round I went 6-0, 12-1. So yeah, I mean, blue white cards are very good. News at 11.
News
Right?
flash. Hey, power cards are
There's
good.
every sort of. I mean, so I had insane. So I did beat. I played. So I played. Let me see. I played Landed Bolt. I won't go into super details, but I played Landed Bolt round 1. Round 2, I think I played against the Yawgmoth Demon or the Diamond Valley deck. I can't remember. And then the third round, I played against the Yawgmoth Demon or Diamond Valley, whichever it was. Round Tim Moran was on the Yawgmoth Demon deck.
Okay.
Round 4, I played against Stephen Hines on Shops. Round 5, I played against Wheel McGran. He was on Rug. He had gone to time the round before against Brian Urbano, who was on the deck with like regular the deck, I think, with Abyss and what have you. They went to orb flips. Will won the orb flips. I played against Will. He wins the die roll. I'm mulligan to 5, and I'm just like, all right, well, I guess you're gonna get this one. And then he goes Taiga, Card 5 lands in, 5 cards in hand, and I go, my 5 is Mox, City of Brass, Lotus, Balance,
Yeah. Yes.
Ancestral, drawing Soul Ring, Mind Twist, and another card, and then I Mind Twist the
Oh.
last card in his hand. So like,
Oh.
so I have a Mox and a City of Brass and 1 card, and he has a Taiga.
You're like, cool. Great game.
So I'm like, all right, I guess I was like, well, I guess I know I said that I wasn't going to go well this game, but I guess, I guess the opposite happened. So that was game 1. I win that game. And then game 2, he mulls to 5 and I go library go. Or he's on the play and I go on the draw library go. So yeah, I win that. And then I played against Dawn in the finals, the last round. He's on Lion Dip Bolt.
Okay. Yeah, that
Which
sounds pretty normal.
Yeah, I would have liked to have 2-0'd, right? Since I 2-0'd everyone else, I didn't. I think it's streamed. We had good games. We had a couple of people coming. Like, this is one of the things that can happen sometimes with my deck and my cards is we had a lot of people like birding and like asking questions about the cards.
Yeah.
So we like lost track of the game state a couple times, which is not ideal. Not like super bad, but there was like, I can't remember if it was game 1 or game 2, and it didn't like make an outcome for. Like, I hope it didn't. I don't think it did. It didn't make any like difference to the game, but like we had like a life total discrepancy because someone interrupted us in the middle of combat.
Good.
And I was just like, I do the pen to paper because like if I pick up my pen, I write down the life total.
Yeah.
It's like just methodical. Like I'm really bad at the dice, and so I'm like trying to do the pen and paper and then update the dice. And I'm like, I think I did this. I don't know. And Don's like, yeah, I think you did, but I don't know. And it's like, all right, well, let's just say that I did. And then if it comes down to it, like it's relevant for you to like burn me out, like, I can just concede the game or whatever.
Yeah.
Super relevant. And Dom's super chill. We play good games. And so like I won game 1, he won game 2, and I won game 3. And so we played 3 games anyway. So probably better since, one of those games could have been different. Potentially. I don't think it would have made any difference, but we had great games. Yeah, those should be streamed. I think they recorded them, and I think Andy Becerra might be doing some like
he's got them. I'm just waiting for him to show up because I was I thought they might have been streamed, but I was at work, so I couldn't particularly
just recorded. I think they have 5 spicy decks, and then the finals. I think.
Okay.
I think that's the way that they did it. So, which is good. I think that's like a valid way. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously. Deck was good, right? I mean, I drank a fair amount.
Unsurprising. Yeah, the sun's going to rise tomorrow, Simon. What else is new?
Yeah, yeah. Much to the chagrin of my my doctor. I just had my like sort of yearly physical to checkup recently, a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "So how much do you drink?" I'm like, "Well, 1 or 2 drinks every night," and then like. Every 1 to 2 months, a lot.
Yeah, like 1 bender per month. That's it.
And they're like, "What is a lot?" And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know, like 5 to 10 drinks, like and they're like, and I'm like, spirits, yes, like spirits, like 5 to 10 spirit drinks, and they're like, that's not good. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, look, those last 5 to 10 years, those are not good years. I don't need those 5. I don't need those. I would rather have some fun now. And, I hope that we have those little pods in Switzerland that we can go just climb in the pod.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. When I'm 95 or whatever, and my liver's failed and I can barely walk, like, all right, bye kids and grandkids. I got to get the hell out of here. Like
it's a lead up, specifically with liver issues. So the problem is ammonia, and the only way to get rid of ammonia is you poop it out. So what you do with people who are in liver failure for whatever reason is you give them meds that make them poop a lot.
Okay.
That's
full of shit,
that
basically.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like it's called lactulose. You can Google it later. It
Mm,
is. I would not wish that upon a lot of people. Maybe a few, but not a
yeah.
lot.
Fair.
That's it.
No, that's
That's it.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I probably need to address that at some point, but, like,
But not
I'm not
today.
doing it
Yeah.
I'm not doing it every day, and, like, so, like, and I occasionally go through cutbacks, right? So it's like I should cut back a little bit more, or maybe only drink one spirit instead of two, or whatever. But part of that is that social thing. It is fun. I like to get a drink every round-ish if I can. I was warned. The California, the Colorado guys were like, "Be careful of the altitude.
Yes, it's a real
You
thing.
like
Yeah.
the drinks will hit you." But I I feel like I was fine. Others could disagree potentially, but I felt like I handled it fine. Like I didn't feel the altitude. And I live at sea level,
Like literally
right?
at sea level.
At
Yes.
sea level. So, but yeah, no, I was fine. I mean, and I walked from where I ate like breakfast to the venue, which is 20-25 minutes. No issues. I wasn't short of breath or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was good. No obscure rulings. Dak had blue
Nothing
white
crazy.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue white cards do good. Um,
Yeah.
prizes. The
Yeah.
so the trophy I'm assuming is a blue skull head thing.
Yeti,
What
yeah, I
is
think it's
the
like a Yeti
Yeti? Okay.
skull. Yeah, it's like a little Yeti skull. Yeah, so I got that trophy. It's pretty cool. I don't know where that's going in the house. I haven't made that negotiation yet.
That's gonna be
Um,
a tough one. I'll say that.
yeah.
What are the numbered cards?
Yeah,
There's
so
like
they had
4 through
envelopes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they had envelopes. It was 1 through 64, right? And it was placement. So there was basically a black envelope sealed so you can't see what's in it, and each card had a prize.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So like random literally random prizes.
Yeah, I think Jared had tried to push the prizes down a little bit, but they were graded cards, primarily signed,
Okay.
or altered by. Um, I only saw Kev Brocksmith. I don't know
Mhm.
if there was Fraser ones as well. There very well could have been, but they were signed. So like I got Keldon Warlord, which had like my finished place, like first place, and it was signed by Kev. I think mine's unlimited.
That's really cool. That's
So it's
what's in
pretty
that
cool,
graded
yeah.
case. Okay.
Like a little coaster, but it was kind of cool just that you didn't know what it was going to be. Everybody got something. I like the idea. I think there is something to having random prizes that nobody knows.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
bounties. It's like playing like bounties in like poker tournaments, but like also it flattens out the payout, quote unquote. I'm just using some terms here. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, there was still some top eight spicy and top eight stamp cards. They were not heavy. Like I got an altered Mountain Yeti.
nice. Okay.
That was altered by I think some guy in Europe. I think it's Cox COX.
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
okay. It's cool. It's cool. It's like a Mountain Yeti
He
that's
does good
altered.
work.
So
Yeah.
I got that, and I got the trophy, and I got my envelope. So I mean, it was still heavy, I guess, in the sense for first, but it was not like super valuable, if that makes sense. Like it wasn't like dollar value, but it
Right.
was just like I did get a few prizes because of that. And then there was like other top eight ones. Like second was like an altered sinkhole, which is pretty cool. Which like Don was like, I'm super happy with second because I wanted that sinkhole. I was like, all right, that's awesome. And then like third and fourth was like a beta disenchant and a
Nice.
beta steel artifact.
Okay.
But it was funny because Jared did from eighth to first, and so the fourth place got to pick
Oh,
before
before?
so
Oh,
before the third. So fourth place got the disenchant, and then third place got the steel artifact, which was Will. So Will got the steel artifact, which like I wish I had a video. Like Will didn't
oh
care, but
man.
like his face, he was just like, "What is happening?" Like, and he was pretty far gone, right? So like, but his face, I wish I had a video of his face just because it was like it was cracking me up. Like, and he wasn't like angry or upset, but his face was just like, "What is going on?" Like.
Enjoy your bit of steel artifact. He can play it in the sideboard. It's probably good
Well,
in the mirror.
he altered it for me because we had a Chaos Orb flip contest for the whole everybody in the tournament got a Chaos Orb flip. I ended up second.
Nice.
Noah actually ended up first. I ended up second, and Will was like, he's like, I'm not gonna play this steel artifact. So he like altered it to give to me as like a joke. And it
Nice.
says top 4 chaos sword flipping contest. So this is kind of funny. But yeah, it was good. I liked the envelopes were good. Having a trophy is cool, right? That's fun to have like a trophy. Yeah, I think the prizes were good. There's also raffle. They did big raffle prizes.
Did you
I
get
want
the no one of like Noah makes those packs, right? And was that part of the raffle, or is he just handing those out?
There was so the packs were with the cards that were the death theme.
Oh, okay, okay.
So they were like everybody got those in case they had those cards in their deck. And then there was also I think he had used some like empty Fallen Empires packs to put like the stamped Mountain Yeti and some like they have I don't know if you've seen these, they're pretty cool, right? So they're Colorado, so they have a lot of like South Park themed stuff.
Yeah, yep.
And they have for every year, I guess they do a South Park themed card, and this year was Swords to Plowshares.
Nice. Okay.
So it has like a guy on a tractor from South Park. And they have, I think the past year ones, hopefully I don't mess this up. I think I might have the years wrong, but last year I think was Sonic Blast. And then the year before that was City Brass. So they have like a couple of like South Park themed cards as well, which is pretty cool. So they gave out some of those as well.
Yeah, that's Randy, and that is a scene from Tegrity Farms, which is his marijuana farm. Anyhow, that's later seasons.
I
That's later season South Park. That's some deep lore.
Yeah, I'm not up in my like after chocolate salty balls.
Yeah,
I got a
you're
heavy
good. You don't need to come back. It's fine. Like,
I got a heavy drop off. I got a heavy drop off there. I don't watch much TV anyway, but I've got a heavy drop off on stuff. My roommate actually in law school. And sometimes they're pretty funny. Um, SNL or something. When someone shows you the funny bits, like they are legitimately quite funny. But watching the whole thing just to get that one funny bit is like probably not worth it for me.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, you can just like TikTok. I get my TikTok feed on Instagram. It's the same thing. Like
Yeah,
I'll catch it on the shorts. Um,
exactly.
this is your what other wins? Like this is a win for you this year, but you've had some
Yeah,
other wins this year too, right? Like, are we?
yeah.
Yeah, like we're kind of just like kind of summarizing the year, like another 40 person tournament win here, with
50,
some
yeah,
yeah 50
54 something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think all right, let me think in the back of my head. So Austin at the beginning of the year I won first place. I went to NoobCon, I think was the next event, and then there's 3 events at NoobCon. The Fortress, I was top 8,
Yep.
6th, I think. NoobCon, I ended up 13th. The the unpronounceable one that's the day after
Yes,
NoobCon.
that one. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, I think I was top 8 again, 6th, I think, for that one. Satanic Panic, I was 6th.
Yep.
I remember that one because it was 6 rounds, 6th place, 6th, the 666. I went to Reindeer Invitational. I think I was 3rd or 4th at that one. Summer Derby, I made top 16. I think I was 13th or 14th, something like that. Hurricane, my event. I was technically second, but I was 5-0. And we cut the event. There was supposed to be one more round, but we cut it because of
Yeah,
some
logistics.
people
Yeah,
logistics, a couple people too drunk, etc.
yeah,
So technically second on that one. LobsterCon, I was like 24th or something, and yet YetiCon first. So I'm probably not got the player of the year resume, but I definitely think you want me on your fantasy team.
yeah. Like a solid, like you're like the wide receiver that every team needs to carry through the season, right? Like,
I would be I think if I average that, I didn't do the math, but I think the average would be top 8.
yeah, probably. I'll give it to you because I'm good at math. So
It's probably like 7th or 8th, but it's probably average is 8th. That the LobsterCon's probably pushing me off. Losing that last round is probably
that's what pushed you
uh,
off the. Yeah,
off the top 4,
yeah,
right? If
yeah,
I
yeah.
think if I don't have that 24th and it's a 16th, even top 16, I'm probably pushing top 4. But anyway, yeah. So a good year. I mean, finishes are somewhat irrelevant, honestly, but they are fun, right? So, I mean, the difference between making first and 8th doesn't make much difference. I obviously like it. I feel a little bit disappointed if I'm, you know, worse than top 8, but I'm it doesn't the difference between winning and coming second is not a big
Yeah,
deal.
it's minimal. It's like
Especially
percentages.
when you're playing like Swiss and like crazy shit can happen in events like that. So, but I mean, I have won 2 Swiss events and came second in a Swiss event this year, which is those are more difficult actually, I think in a lot of ways, right?
You got to
Because
run hot because you can't mess up.
you got
Like,
to run
yeah,
hot all day and it's hard to just nothing can happen.
yeah. No, you have to like literally not take a loss unless it's like the literal last round
Yeah.
to place. Like it's just how it is, and
Yeah, so
I come
I
to
think
appreciate that.
I don't know what else. I don't have anything. I was hoping to regraph or hoping to go to the Tennessee events. It's not bootleggers, whatever the one is in December.
No, it is.
I don't
It's
know.
Bootleggers Ball. It's December 4th through the 6th.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to go to either of those events, unfortunately. So I'm not sure that I'm gonna have anything else this year. I might run a mini event of my own,
Okay.
maybe. But it could be like AAA or Alice or whatever the hell I feel like.
Right.
So the next event might just be the Derby, which is dependent on family holiday. Usually I don't play the Winter Derby
Got to get that family
because
vacation in.
yeah, but I don't actually have anything planned right now. So yeah, I mean, I think the win for me is it means that the trip was a success rather than the win itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I successfully did the thing, right? I signed up last. I'm the last to arrive in Colorado. I'm the first to leave, and I first place. So it's sort of like the sort of mirror imagery of it, the kind of the whole like story arc. I'm here for the story arc. I think is probably what was more exciting than actually winning. Is more that like, okay, you can do this thing that's ridiculous, and you could still have the best outcome, which is to win your matches all day and come kind of first place.
Yeah.
I almost got first in the Chaos Orb too, right? I was second in the Chaos Orb flip up, and it's funny because like they were struggling with flipping, so they were like, you got to stand on your chair and like flip from standing on your chair. But he was like, you could stand on the chair, but you could still flip for 12 inches. But I was just standing and
Yeah. Just like letting you're just like, nah, I got it. It's fine. Like, don't mess up the
yeah,
mechanics. The distance isn't the problem. Like,
yeah. So, but anyway, so it was. I mean, first on the main event, second on the Chaos Sword flip offs. I won. I bought some charity raffle tickets. I got you see in the picture of my swag. I got a Sarah Angel
yeah, the
comic
base.
and
Yeah.
oversized.
Where
I
the
won that in the charity
Okay.
raffle,
Okay.
which was perfect because what did I kill everyone with all day?
Sarah Angels.
Sarah Angel. So again, I love the story arc. So I was like, well, I don't have these things. And I have a couple of the oversized cards that I've won. I have like a Josem Jin and and a couple that I've won from old school events that are like signed, what have you. So like I'm like, I want the Sarah Angel because I don't own one. I'm playing Sarah Angel. I don't have the comic. I kind of want that as well. So I just like I jammed all my tickets in there and I won, which is like again just like perfect story arc to win the Sarah Angel when I'm playing the Sarah Angel. Which
Nice.
again I do occasionally play a Sarah Angel, maybe one or two, but 4 Sarah Angels basically unheard of
Absolutely.
for me.
Yeah. Yeah. For you. The after tournament AAA, did you play any 40K? I don't know if anybody else brought 40K out. Like,
So there was only 2 people. So Will was there and Tim Moran was there. And Will was like, "Are you bringing 40K?" And I'm like, "If it's just you 2 guys, I'm gonna skip and I'm gonna bring 2 AAA decks instead
okay,
because I'd rather like have more people to play
it's a bigger
against."
pop. Yeah.
Yeah. I will call him out by name. Tim Moran did not play me in AAA, and that's big slops because I think he's the only person that I didn't get to play. And so, like, screw you, Tim. I think he was just burnt out, which I understand. But I was like, just play me one fucking game, Tim.
Yeah. It takes 20
Like,
minutes to lose. That's my
I
thoughts on in AAA. But
I killed him in the Swiss, so maybe he was still he looked pretty tired to be fair, but like still I got to call you out, Tim. I think I played everybody else that was like jamming and still there. I think I got 10, 9, 10, 11 or 12 games in,
nice.
which is pretty good. I screwed up my second deck was missing some cards. which was problematic because I
Happens.
didn't.
Happens. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just didn't have enough parts, so I basically was all in on my one deck, which was fine. But I was the plan had been to bring 2 decks, so I had some variety. And so I kind of screwed that up. I hadn't spent enough time. So, but anyway, yeah, AAA was fun. Jammed with most people. Play a couple games. I think I lost 2 or 3 games and won 9 or 10 games, something like
Nice.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great low stakes
Yeah.
way to play Magic while you're drinking after the tournament. Like it doesn't have the feel, right, of anti 40K. It doesn't have that
No.
same.
It's that there's nothing on the line. It's literally nothing on the line.
Yeah, it's nothing, right. It's there's definitely, but it is fun. It's still fun to be able to play because like, I like playing Magic, right? I like
Yeah.
playing Magic. So like being able to play for something is worthwhile because if as much as I love to play Magic, I don't like if someone's like, "Hey, you want to play your deck you played today for like a fun game?" I'd probably
Like,
be like,
nah.
"Nah, nah, I'm good." There is something like I've never been like a play tester. I've never play tested really Magic ever in my life. Like I could count probably on my fingers how many times I've done play testing ever, including like for the Pro Tour or going to NoobCon. I just like I like to. There's something about that playing in the event, and there's something about like the concentration event. I do find it hard to concentrate if I'm not playing an event because like nothing's on the line, even though nothing's on the line. But like my mind is just wandering because I'm just going through the motions, and it's also like hard to lock in, right? It's like if you're in a really bad spot and I'm playing in a tournament, I'm just like, all right, what do I need to draw? What do I got to do? How do I get this back under control? Well, if it's for nothing, I'm like, scoop.
Nice. Yeah. Like
like
whatever. Like yeah.
like, am I gonna really play that 40-minute game against the deck when it's for fun to
No.
see if I could win the 1% out? No. But if I'm
No.
in a
No.
tournament, I might, and I still might consider. I'm a pretty. I can be a pretty quick scooper, probably quicker than most people. If like I'm like, let's play another game. Like the stress is gonna outweigh the chance that I win this game and like impact my next game. But yeah, it's fun. Triple A's fun. I'm glad I got some games in. We had the bar till 2, so we got done, I don't know, 8 o'clock, ate dinner, and just hung out and drank. Probably 50% or so of the people probably left, and then
Mhm.
there's, the remaining people were there, and people trickled out over the night. I do need to like Noah and Will stayed with me till the bitter end, so I have to shout out thanks for that.
Good
We
for
got kicked
them.
out there. Yeah, we got kicked out of there at 2, and then I walked with them back to the Airbnb, which was 15 minutes away, 10 minutes away walk, and then we like chewed the fat like outside on their like outside the front of the house on the porch till about 3, and I hopped in an Uber and went to airport.
That's what's up. Yep.
Yeah, so
The
do appreciate that.
I got one last question, but I need to go unlock my front door for cleaning lady reasons. The
Yes.
last question is what's next 2025? I know we talked about this earlier, like on an earlier episode, but I know we wanted to come back to it. I'm going to ask you that question and then I'll be back in like the 30 seconds it takes me to run upstairs real quick.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. So 2025, I'm actually slacking a lot. Just work has been crazy. Even just thinking the rest of this year, I have like a couple of work trips. I think to Indianapolis and LA. Um, I mentioned already, I might do a local meetup, AAA or Alice. Maybe the Derby. The only tournament that I have locked in for next year is Chalice.
Okay.
Um, I don't have anything else yet. I still have the same thing. So Chalice is the plan. The plan is not to go to NewCon. I said that this year and went anyway. Um, I would like to get a European trip in. I would like to go to a Dutch event. I haven't been to a Dutch
They're good,
event.
dude. They're fun.
Yeah, I really so the Lifton Troll Cup and what's the other one? Raging Bull.
Yeah.
So I would like to go to Lifton Troll Cup or Raging Bull. One of those. That's the plan. I was not planning to go to LobsterCon next year, but the shark may make me go to LobsterCon.
That's what I was gonna ask you. I was like, are you gonna like? I feel like
Yeah.
everybody's gonna go, and that's gonna incline me to go. Like,
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've gone now the last 2 years. I went this year and last year, and even last year I was like, the plan is not to go this year, but it's like there's so many people and it's a big I really like these small events too, right? I mean, the 32 to 64 people events, there's something special about those events. You just get more one-on-one time with people. LobsterCon, there was a couple of people that I just like didn't get to hang out with. It's
yeah,
so big
it's literally
and
impossible.
like that kind of sucks, right? So there is something kind of special about those small events, the stories and the laughs that you get. You don't, it's different. You still get them at the big events, but you get it with, the group that you get, not necessarily, all of the people, and with the majority of the people that you want. But yeah, so I mean, Chalice, probably not NoobCon, maybe a Dutch event, probably LobsterCon. I feel like I should,
I'll see you at
just because
LobsterCon. We can figure out the room situation.
yeah, I mean, I did a short LobsterCon this year as well. I flew in Friday, like evening, left early Sunday morning. But I mean, it's a great run event, right? But I don't know what my YetiCon is for next year. That's probably the big one, right? So I don't know what the event is. That's kind of the fully new event that I haven't been to. Doesn't need to be big. Um, for weekend purposes, probably does need to be in the US for that small event, just realistically.
so
Oh, I guess go ahead.
I just got done talking with Dave yesterday morning. Uh,
Yeah.
Dave Dave from Indiana. That is
Yeah.
high on my list.
Thrash
He's
Bash.
he's
Yeah.
waiting he's waiting on the football schedule to come out before he posts a date.
Okay, he has posted it. It's that one is tricky, right?
It's
Because
the same
it
month.
is,
It's like almost the same weekend.
yeah, and close to my event. So
Ooh.
Hurricane, Thrash Bash, and LobsterCon are all within a month usually. Well, now that LobsterCon's moved. So, and I have a little bit of flexibility actually. I'm debating where I'm going to put Hurricane. I could make it earlier as prep for LobsterCon.
Yeah.
Um, or I can make it after as an event. October is kind of a nice time of year. Can be like the weather can cool a time. Cool. It's still
Cool
like 80.
cool is like 85. Like if we're lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
But compared to 3 months of 100,
yeah, okay, that's fair.
it feels cool. And also like less likely to get hit by actual hurricanes because like I'm rolling the dice there, right?
That's
Actually
September.
holding the hurricane.
September is like just pure hurricane season.
I'm really rolling the dice there. Because and I even like I have sort of backup plan. I'm like, well, some of the people might not drive in, and the people that are here, like they could come to my house if I needed. Like
Yeah,
we could probably get 20 people crammed into my house. I have a generator, so I have electricity.
fine. Like,
It would not be ideal, but like we could do it. I sort of have a backup plan in mind. The guys from Austin, San Antonio would just not drive in, so
yeah,
that would like remove a bunch of people. So it would just be local people that wanted to come, and like if anybody flew in, they could stay at my house. So yeah, but yeah, and the Austin event is in January, so that's the same event. It's the same. It's always MLK weekend, which is a problem for me to ever get to the Sin City event because I got to go to the one I can drive to that's 2 hours away. But I would like to go to Brian's Sin City event. So we're starting to get some competing things, and it's unfortunately just the one that makes the most sense, either time or cost or whatever. It's
yep.
hard, but these big events, right? Earth Control Cup, LobsterCon, WinCon, NoobCon, these are kind of set, and it's where these other ones are floating in between. I'm sort of interested in those ones that are in between. I want to do the Dutch events because I haven't, but I've managed to sort of collect a lot of these other events. And as much as I want to go back to Arvika, amazing event, loved it. It's hard to go back when there's so many other events.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
I
know.
haven't been to
It's
Tennessee. I want to go to Tennessee. Yeah, there's so
an
many. There's just
embarrassment of
so
wealth
many.
is what it is. Like,
It's great. I mean,
yeah,
it's the best problem to have. Is absolute best problem to have. And you meet a couple people. I met some people YetiCon that I've either only met online.
yeah.
There's a guy that collected misprints who was like super excited to see my deck and stuff. You get that like interaction, that face to face. When I went to Kumite, same thing. There's a guy who collects miscuts. I got to like interact with him. I wouldn't get that. Like, and you don't. It's too big when it's LobsterCon. It's too big to get that interaction. Because the reason, like at YetiCon, the reason that the guy came to talk to me was because I'd play Stephen Hines, and then Stephen Hines played him the next round and was like, they were talking about cards, and he's like, go speak to Simon.
Yeah.
And so like it was not even that we interacted, it was that I interacted with someone that I already know is with Steven, and Steven, he was like, oh, this guy. That's less likely to happen when it's so big at LobsterCon. It can still happen, but it's like
It's the
it has to
percentages
be
are
super
smaller. Yeah.
opportunity is small, it has to be super fortuitous, right? You
Yep.
know, I it's mine because we just played. The guy obviously played something or talked about something that's misprinted, miscut, so he connected those dots, right? Sort of aligned all those things together. But yeah, next year is I'm slacking a bit. Chalice is the only Austin and Chalice are the only two events that I've locked in.
Okay.
I do want to do a Dutch event. I'm probably going to do LobsterCon. It's going to be hard not to do LobsterCon if I can get a spot, right? There's also that's the other thing is like
Ooh.
it's open, and if there's 250 spots, I mean, I can probably make that work on that day, right? As long as they're not all sold out within 2 hours or some nonsense. I can probably make that work. I don't know if he'll do it in batches, maybe. I have no idea. He also has some least space for the sharks, right? The people that have giant sharks because they get a spot.
My thought
Um,
is like like open up like almost like lottery it. So like
email lottery.
yeah, like get everybody like I don't know how you do the first part, but it's like get everybody in, like who wants to go, and then hit the random number generator until you hit cap. I don't
Yeah,
know how that
or
I don't
maybe
know
you
if
do
that's
it.
even fair or equitable at all.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you do it in batches, and you just say, you know, we'll release 100 spots. We'll release 100 spots, and then maybe you do a lottery for the last 50 or something. I don't know either. There's no good way to do. Or maybe you just say tough luck, and we just
Yeah.
release it, and it's good luck to you.
It's like a time
Um,
zone thing for the Europeans. Like that's like I'm not worried about me. Like I'll get up at 3 in the morning. It's not a big deal. It's
Yeah,
like
but he could adjust that. He could adjust that to make it make more sense, right? He could make it be at noon,
yeah.
right?
And that's like morning for most Europeans, I think. I think.
No, that'll be evening.
Or evening,
It'd be
sure.
evening. Yeah, yeah. So if he makes it, say, 11 Eastern or 12 Eastern, that means it's possible for you on the West Coast. It's just more, morning, and that means it's 8 hours roughly, depending on where you are in Europe, 6 to 8 hours from Eastern. That's evening. That kind of works for everyone. I don't think there's very many people in Australia and New
N
Zealand,
no,
Japan.
not
So,
seeing it, not seeing it.
so I think that kind of works for everyone. I think probably just releasing at noon, and that probably works for everyone in the U.S. as well. Other than like, I guess if you work hourly kind of job where you don't have access, right? You're at the hospital and you can't get away or something. That
We'll
kind of thing.
literally be pausing unless somebody's
Yeah,
actually dying. But yes, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Well, and at that point, sometimes it's like you get someone else to sign up for you if need
Yeah,
be,
yeah, yeah.
kind of thing, right? If you really were stuck in, dire need. But yeah, it's that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be fun. I mean, Day puts on a great event. It's exciting to have the shark. I'm glad that the shark's going to swim. I think that's amazing.
I
I
like
think
it. I like this.
I like that it will just keep swimming. I mean, reading between the lines, maybe it goes to Holland next, or the Netherlands, maybe
That'd be
to
cool.
Earth Control Cup. I think that's cool. I think it gives an incentive for people to want to go to events on top of the already good events. And I think I had said this to MG, I think at Arvika 2 years ago. 2 years ago, last year, not this year, Arvika last year, that giving the shark is like a big like nod. It's almost just like a high five and a nod to how good that TO has done.
Yes.
And I think that's sort of how it got to Italy in the first place. Those guys put on a great event. He wanted, he wanted to have the shark go somewhere. It kind of made sense, right? I think giving it to Dave is a big like, you're doing a great job, and that's cool. It's like a very like nice nod to that. And I think the same's true. I mean, I haven't been, but from what I've heard about the Dutch events, I think similar, right? Earth Control Cup is great, well-run event, same sort of thing. So I think if it shoots around and you can give it to these TOs who are already doing a big Arvika, same Arvika had it when I went last year. They had the shark. Amazing. Like give these guys like it's a big that made that propelled that event to be even bigger, right? It went from I think historically a 70-ish person event to 120 plus. And I think
Yeah.
it was even
Almost
bigger
double
this
it.
year.
Yeah.
and I didn't have a shark this year, and I think it was 150 or whatever. I don't know the exact numbers, but like it sort of legitimizes the event, makes the event a little bit bigger, gives them some velocity. That was a smaller one, made it bigger. I think Troll Cup and LobsterCon probably don't need any velocity, but I think legitimizing the event as like this is kind of a premier event. That's cool. That's cool. It's sort of like the difference between getting a GP and a Pro Tour, I guess, right? Like back
Sure. Yeah.
when Magic mattered, right? Is like getting a GP is still really cool, but like a Pro Tour is like a big deal for the city and like for like your city of Magic, right? So getting the giant shark is kind of the best equivalent we have of that. It'd also be fun to see people playing without hymns in the US because it doesn't happen very
It
much.
breaks my heart. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
wait.
I love all the different events because and all the different rule sets. And there's also, I mean, I've already seen people getting confused about Swedish versus reprint policy, which
It's
is
my favorite. It's my favorite thing that's going to happen
it's
is explaining
it's
that.
very humorous. So there's people freaking out about like this is wrong and all this, and it's like there's a FAQ. So Dave already answered this question, and I'll just to be clear, in case people are confused, the event rules are Swedish, which means no fallen empires, no mana burn. It's basically ABU and the Four Horsemen,
Yep.
and the rules for Swedish rules versus
Reprints.
reprints or printings. The legality of the cards are two different things that people commingle all the time. The reprint policy of Swedish is not being enforced. Just the rules for which sets you can play and which cards you can play, as in what's restricted or not. Those are kind of the rule set versus, let's say the printings of the cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, two different things, but people kind of commingle them, I think, a lot. And I've already seen some threads on that where people getting confused, but I get it somewhat confusing, but like most of us played legacy or vintage or some, and like people understand the difference between proxy and non-proxy, and people understand the difference between sanctioned and unsanctioned Magic. If you played any sort of competitive or quasi-competitive Magic, people kind of understand that. It's like you can understand this. You're purposefully not understanding it. If you're like, there's definitely I've seen people being difficult about it, and it's like you can understand this. Like you can. You're smart. You play Magic. You can figure stuff out. You don't have to like it. That's fine. So create your own event. Like that's always the thing is, we've talked about this before, I think, as well. It's like, make a new rule set. That's fine. And if it's good, people will come play.
Yeah.
This, I just went to this was mountain rules, I think. So it's a no, that's the Colorado
I'm not
rule.
updating anything until somebody outside of Colorado plays it. I'm putting that officially out there.
Where else has mountains that could use the mountain rule set in the US? That'd be funny. It's like
like
only
West Virginia,
only
like the
places like
Ozarks.
above
Yeah,
like
like
10,000 feet or something. Like
sure. The top of Mount Rainier, that's like 14. Like
if we do a Mexico City
yeah,
Magic tournament, maybe we have
Mexico
to
City.
use mountain rule set. We have to. I think that's maybe only 6. I don't know I don't know. Maybe it's only 6 or 7,000 feet. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's funny. I mean, yeah, unless it's played multiple places, it's difficult, right? You can have too many changes. We have the big three, right? Four strip, Atlantic, and Swedish. And then all the weird ones, Scrangs, X points, 7 points. I think that's a pretty good spot, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that somebody could make something else that's also fits into one of those categories that catches on.
Yeah. I mean, the market will dictate, right? Like if people
Correct.
think it's fun and they want to keep like it'll continue just to occur, right? Like
Yeah,
you don't
nobody's
have
playing
to
Four
like
Horsemen for a reason, right? Four Horsemen is terrible, so nobody played it, right? But the other ones are good, and people put on events, right? And
yeah.
because people are putting on events, people go and play it, and it's fun. I mean, we're stuck in four strip, which will be interesting if I do move Hurricane and make it Swedish. I'm gonna have the same. I'm gonna have some headbutting.
Somebody's gonna show up with more than one strip mine, and somebody's for
Oh,
sure gonna show up with some hymns. Like,
oh yeah,
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 can't wait.
exactly.
Can't wait.
Yeah, yeah,
Same thing's gonna
yeah,
happen at LobsterCon. Somebody's gonna try and hymn somebody round one, and we're
yeah.
gonna, I guess, figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal, right? At the end of the day, it's just we come to jam some Magic,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's fun. I think next year's gonna be it'll be different. That might swerve people to different events as well, right? Because if people are banking on LobsterCon, it'll be interesting. We should get more Europeans hopefully come over.
And it should be
Maybe
easy
there's
because it's Boston, so you can fly right in. Like it shouldn't be rocket
yeah, it
science.
depends. Yeah, I mean, East Coast is easy. It's much easier flying to New York.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, but that's an easy. You can train ride, and obviously train ride around. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I'm sort of trying to rack up these other events I haven't been to. Right, trying to figure out how do I get to these other events in these other places. Like I'd love to go to an event in Spain. Right,
Mm.
I don't. They don't. It's all like I can't. All their stuff is in Spanish, so it's like a little bit like inaccessible. Just like I'd love to go to an event in Japan. I'm like
It's so expensive, dude. I'm trying to work that out too.
you and I should talk about that because so actually so now Houston just got man, I can't remember the name of the airline. It's like a budget airline from Japan. The flight you can get a direct flight from Houston to Japan for like $300.
We should talk about that. I'm trying to combine it so that I'm not just wasting time. Like, there's some
Yeah.
ski areas out that way that I need to
Oh,
do before
cool.
they don't like while they
Allow
still
skiing.
exist. Yeah,
Yeah. Before they melt.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm in geographically the wrong spot. You're actually in a good spot. You're in like West Coast is those are feasible. I'm in a really bad spot to get
that's the
to
hardest
Japan.
part for you guys is you like I didn't know that Houston was. Hold on, let's just cut this. Hold on. All right, that's the end of this podcast. Hold on here, real quick.